the day you hurt our style. From my friend that said them love me when me know them lie. Me pray for the godly youth, but I me know them cry. Babylon a shoot down and them a tell me a lie. Me pray, cause rice and flour for buy. Can't depend on cassava that hard for fry. Now living on the whole days that hard for try. Me ras my mama eat steak and that hard for buy. So we shall overcome, shall overcome, must overcome.
Attention seafood suppliers, Dave's, the largest purchaser of fresh fish from Guyana, is interested in buying from you. Dave's deeply cares about bolstering the local economy and is looking to begin business with an eager seller of fresh fish and agro products. Dave's needs a constant supply of snapper, butterfish, bangameri, bundari crab, sheriga crab, white belly shrimp, bon carilo, edo, saijambaji and more. Contact Dave's West Indian Imports at 21 Middle Street, Viceless, East Coast, Demerara. Telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. Dave's will purchase.
Surprise your family today with a nice vanilla flavored cake made with Maid Marian cake flour. It's perfect for the birthday, anniversary, special occasion, or just celebrating the joy of having your family together. So get a pack or two of Maid Marian cake flour to make that moist, fluffy, vanilla flavored sponge cake, donut shaped cakes, Swiss rolls, and other delicious baked goods. Bring on the smiles with Maid Marian cake flour. Made and packaged not by hand by Nomilco, the National Milling Company of Guyana.
Nomilco, National Milling Company of Guyana.
Craving a meal that's big on flavor but doesn't break the bank? KFC has got you covered with the KFC 3-piece meal deal. Get 3 pieces of chicken, fries, mac and cheese, a biscuit, and a drink. All for just $2,200. It's the perfect deal, available every day. Enjoy your 3-piece meal deal at KFC today. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Good evening and welcome to another program of the Sean Devers Sports Watch. It's Tuesday, the 7th day in the month of October. We're still in the year 2025, and tonight you can call on 592-226-7454. That's the telephone numbers that you can get on to us on to make your contribution. On tonight's program, we talk with Junior Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports, Stephen Jacobs, and former Guyana and West Indies cricket captain Ronnie Sarwan. And they are in Letem, I think. They missed their flight, so they're going to try to get on. They say the internet is a little dodgy in the interior, so we're hoping we can get them on. We've also got former Trinidad and Tobago and West Indies fast bowler Anthony Gray. This program comes to you with the compliments of Dave's West Indian Imports, KFC, Nomilco, Builders Lumberyard, and Survival Supermarket. Good night, everybody. Let's tell you that the Intercounty 50-over cricket tournament, that starts on Saturday. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. There one match, Essequibo versus Demerara. They're playing at Hampton Court, and Burby's playing the Select 11 the next day at Lusignan. This is in preparation for the regional Super 50, which is scheduled to start on the 18th of November in Trinidad. Let me tell you, without divulging the exact fixtures, that's later going to be set. There's a press conference on Thursday with Queensway to launch that tournament, but fans in Berbice can have a look in number 69 Village. And of course, we told you that the opening match is going to be Essequibo versus Demerara at the New Hampton Court. In the second test, West Indies versus India, they need to win to draw the series. And they lost the first one in 3 days. And that starts on Friday. series, as I said, with India winning one. It's a two-test series, so it's 1-0 at present. And today, England beat Bangladesh by 4 wickets in the Women's World Cup. No West Indian team in that World Cup. So that's all we've got for in terms of news. We've got Tony Gray on the line. Tony?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good evening to you, Sean.
Yeah, good evening to you, Tony. We're still hoping, keeping our fingers crossed, that Ronnie and Minister Jacobs, Stephen Jacobs, the newly appointed deputy or assistant or junior sports minister, he's responsible for culture and youth also, in addition to sports. Charles Ramson is the subject minister, and they say that they went to do a project in Letem himself and Ronnie Sarwan, and they missed their flight. Well, the flight was delayed, so they're having problems with the internet in the town of Letem. So we've got Tony Gray. Hi, Tony. How are you doing tonight?
Okay, not too bad, Sean. I just want to say condolences to the family of Bernard Julian, the former West Indies all-rounder. Everybody knows that he was on that team, the World Cup team, the first World Cup win, 1975, and he just succumbed to illness last Saturday. So I just want to say on behalf of myself, my family, condolences to the Bernard Julian family and friends.
Well, I want to endorse that condolences from myself and my family also, and the entire Guyana sporting fraternity, especially the cricket fraternity. We all know Bernard Julian well. I actually, this is going to sound funny, I actually played with him at Border in a match. That match was the University of Guyana 11 versus the past West Indian players, and he was one of the past West Indian players. And Gordon Greenidge was the wicketkeeper on our side, and Roger Harper was the captain. And when Bernard Julian, at his age, and that's to show the difference in attitudes of these players. They're so professional even when they're older. He stopped the ball with his feet. Brilliant stop. He couldn't bend down, but he stopped it with his feet on the boundary. And Greenidge was saying, come on, get the batsman run out. So that stuck in my mind for several reasons. One was which they still played with that professional attitude, and those things are embedded in them. Not so much with these younger players. They seem to have fun all the time. Not all wrong to have fun, but not all the time. Even when you lose, you see skin teeth. As we said, there's the inter-county in Guyana, and then there's the regional Super 50. That's going to be entirely in your country. I understand the CWI was looking forward to Guyana hosting the last part of the tournament. But according to them, the lack of funds from the Guyana Cricket Board, they can no longer host it, so everything is going to be played in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, mostly in Trinidad. I don't know if a match is set for Tobago, which I doubt, because of the same funding, lack of funds. West Indies Board going through a lot of pressure, and it's trickling down to the regional boards, unlike Australia, India, and England. Those are the top three. And they've got plenty of funds. So let's start with the test match scheduled to start Friday. How do you see? Well, I heard the West Indies are saying they aim to level the series, but leveling the series means they got to win.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. Obviously, when you look at the first test match, India dominated that first test match, annihilated us. We just were able to bat, 89.2 overs in the whole test match. But we didn't get 200 runs in either of the the innings that we played. And India is not going to let up. Remember, they have to redeem themselves. The last time they played in India, they were beaten 3-0 in that series by New Zealand. So it's about redemption time, and they will use us to really and truly stamp their name into the minds of the Indian public again. So they're not going to let up.
And this also the start of the Test Championship cycle. So all to play for.
Yeah, I mean, every game is important. We saw what happened in the final at Lord's not too long ago with South Africa winning the Test cycle and the final. It was a wonderful match, showed that Australia is not impregnable and obviously not invincible and can be dethroned, and they were the defending champions. So the Indians would want to be in that position. They have the most money in the world. They have some of the best infrastructure in the world. They have some of the best players. They have the biggest population, cricket population, and that not just the human population. Over 1 billion people, but millions of people are fanatical about the game. So they would want to be in a position, firstly, to get to the final and then to win the final. So they're not going to let up. They're not going to be complacent. They want to win every game possible.
Yeah, the number to call, 592-226-7454. We're still hopeful that we'll be joined from Letem. I think it's Letem they're gone to have them on the air. The Minister of Sports, the Junior Minister of Sports, Stephen Jacobs, former West Indies youth captain, played some first-class games. He played list A games, and he also played in the CPL, Stephen Jacobs. So I was looking forward to him being on the program. And the former Guyana and West Indian captain, Ronnie Sarwan, he is the selector in Guyana. Not the only selector, though. He's not like Sammy. So we are still hoping that they will join, but they say the internet is very unreliable. They missed their flight. Well, the flight was delayed, so they're back at their hotel. For a long time, I've never been to Letem. I hope I understand it's really developed now, and there's even internet there. When I was there was no internet. Let's talk about you were one of the scouts to go around the region, or you were stationed in Trinidad. They had others in their respective areas, and they looked at the 4-day, and they looked at the regional 50 over. And then you reported back to a match manager, and then he reported back to Sammy. Long process. So are you satisfied that those persons you saw, well, most of them, because it can't be all, got their place in the team when the team was selected eventually by Sammy?
Well, you have to remember this is a system. It's not about me alone, and it's not about Sammy alone. It's a system that CWI has instituted. So it's a collective effort by the other scouts. And I would have seen 2 games alone. Remember, I'm not the chairman or lead selector of the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team. Gibran Mohammed was the selector in that position. So he would have seen most of the games. I was just helping out because of the volume of games that were played in Trinidad. So I saw 2 games that you respect, very good games too. And I suggested some names. I had a depth chart, what you call a depth chart, which I think is a good system. It's not a comprehensive system, but it's a good system to have a depth chart that guides not only the scouts, but the selector.
All right. And what about the actual top order batting? That's a big problem. How can we fix that in all formats of the game?
Well, Sean, I've kept on saying ad nauseum that we need to look back at success. We analyze and perhaps emotionalize failure, but we don't analyze success. So when we were successful, it meant that we were doing the right things before that period of 15 years of dominance was achieved. And obviously, to maintain that long dominance, we were doing the right thing with our batsmen. I think that we don't have the level of coaching that we used to have. I mean, we didn't have certified coaches then, but we had qualified coaches who were patient, who taught the basics of the game. And in that era, youngsters used to listen to everything. They had to, because that was the that was the norm in that era. In this era, I don't think we have the level of coaching. We have more certified coaches, and I don't think that we do the right things at the foundational level. So we're not getting the type of returns. And it's indicative when you look at the averages over the years of our best players, for example. We had a guy that was averaging 60, then 57, then it came down. And the best average that we have in Test match cricket at this point in time is Craig Brathwaite, and he's stationed at number 56th in the ICC rankings. We have 4 bowlers in the first 30 who are stationed in the ICC rankings where bowling is concerned. Jaden Fields at 12. Sharma Joseph, who just started international cricket, he's stationed at 14th. Alzari Joseph, 29th. And Jomel Warrican at 30th. So we have a lot of bowlers who are well ranked and could do better because you could always improve. And we have one batsman at the 56th position, and that's the first batsman, and he's not even on the West Indies side. We have a problem with the top order, obviously. And one of the problems is that I think that we have sometimes mismanaged players. Sometimes they cannot concentrate for long periods because they've been cemented in the white ball game, especially the 50-over game. And now they're playing against one of the better teams in world cricket, a team that is ranked number 1 in both white ball formats, and then they're ranked at 4th position in the ICC ranking. So it's very difficult for our top order batsmen facing Bumrah, who's ranked at number 1 in the world, and Siraj, who has had different mindsets since England, taking those 23 wickets in England. So he feels that he's number 1 now.
Darren Sammy, my good friend, he was talking about this ball buzz batting that the English team demonstrates. Then he went back and said that he's looking for someone to replace the style of Brathwaite, and he picked Tadenrine Chandrapal, who's not played much cricket, and I'm very surprised that he's in. But he looks like if he's not played much cricket, to be honestly truthful. He got 11 ball duck in the first innings. He hit a 4 in the second innings, but he still fell for 8. But that was a real stupendous catch at square leg. So he failed in both innings. All of the batsmen failed. So what is Sammy trying to do really? Let the batters bat long, stay away from the ball bars that he was promoting, or one of the batters bat and score quick runs. But we have a system which is very good, but you don't have the quality players to man that system.
Yeah, I think that first of all, you have to analyze what has transpired during the course of the regional 4-day tournament, because that's where we pick our test team from, because it simulates with the 5-day test match. When you look at Tadenrine Chandrapal, for example, and nobody goes out there to fail. No. He has worked tremendously hard on his game, and he's always been a hard worker. I remember seeing him at 12 years old in Guyana when I coached the Trinidad and Tobago on a 19 team, working very hard at that age. So it's ingrained in him. I think that he has some technical issues, and I don't think that we have gotten enough time to select him. For example, he played, 3 games, got injury to his hand, and before being dropped, you remember he had a string of low scores. Yeah. So I think that he has some technical issues. First of all, when he went to Australia in his first test tour, he did well, 40 average, because he was prepared mentally for the pace. And he was moving that back foot tremendously well. So he was pulling the ball, he was hooking the ball, he was looking to square cut the ball because he was preparing for it. I saw that in Trinidad when he came up against Shannon Gabriel in the 50-over tournament. So I said that he was being futuristic in his thinking and preparing for Australia. But Australians are very good at analyzing and executing a game plan against any batsman. And so they were pitching up the ball a little bit more. And I think that he was overcompensating with his technique. And, I've not seen a difference in him. He got strangled down the leg side in the first innings of this first test match and was brilliantly caught at square leg trying to pull the ball. So a lot of tricks in his mind now because he's not going to have that level of confidence. But it's about working on technique, and these things should have been rectified years ago.
And I know he's a good listener. He listens when you advise him. He's welcoming constructive criticism and so on. He's generally a nice guy. But he needs to play more cricket. And it's a bad thing now that the English system used to be our nursery and our finishing school. It's now no longer available to our batters. I don't know if because of the lack of standard in our batters. We see a couple of fast bowlers. Roach is still there playing county cricket. We saw Phillips and Searles go. But mostly our fast bowlers are exposed to county cricket. But that was the main finishing school for our batsmen in the past.
Yeah, I mean, if that's why I keep on talking about research. People say county cricket is what created that kind of dominance. It was the perfect finishing school in that you had cold climatic conditions that we could not simulate in the Caribbean. The only way we could simulate that is to actually play in England and simulate not just English conditions but New Zealand conditions. So that is what made us comprehensive in our preparation from the playground to the international arena. But before we reached the county cricket, we were good before that because we would never gotten contracts if we weren't good before that. Lara, a month in England, broke, the first-class record.
501.
So it's not, so it's not England helped him with that. It's that he was able to adjust to English conditions very quickly. So it's the Western system before that created that ability to make adjustments, quick adjustments. I went to Surrey and became, Player of the Year, given by the members because I went as a substitute for Sylvester Clark. So we magnified our talents and our professionalism in England because the environment was, you had to be very disciplined and you played cricket very often, 19 games a year, first-class games a year. So, you had that energy level, that focus, that mentality to do well so that you can be recontracted. So England helped us a lot, but England would not have taken us if we weren't good before. So we have to research on what happened before England.
Yeah, the number to call, if you're interested in calling, you can talk to Anthony Gray. He's a former West Indies and Trinidad fast bowler. He's also a very competent coach. And the number is 592-226-7454. And even before Lara, in your days, the back end of your days, there was a Shell Shield tournament. And that tournament was like a mini test series in the West Indies. And we played that tournament in each country, giving you, and those times the pitches were very different. You had Border, Batting Paradise, Trinidad, a Spinner's Delight, Jamaica and Barbados Pace. And so you got the opportunity to play on different surfaces, and you played 5 matches. And then when the touring teams came, the regional teams played against them also. So you had technically 6 first-class matches in a season, and then those of you who were lucky to go to England. So there was a lot more cricket and a lot more quality cricket. Now I see next year the West Indies board, because again lack of funds, they're removing the under-17 tournament, and they still got the under-19 tournament. how is that going to affect the younger players, the under 15s, those in the under 17 who cannot yet get into the under 19 team? But when I played, we only played under 19, so you had
19.
you had to be up to the grade. I made the Guyana team at 16, so there was no under 15 or under 17, but there was an under 16 tournament locally in Guyana that we played. That was
Right.
run by the National Sports Commission. So even at that age, we played with our peers and we developed skills and all of these things, confidence. And so the only thing we had to do in regional cricket was to play under 19.
Yeah, and I say right. I don't have a problem with that because of the fact that, as you mentioned, I think that we have to bring back some of the systems. I call it, and I want to write a book about this, Sean. I'm serious about it. That it was a perfect preparation. We have not analyzed West Indies cricket during the success, so we don't understand. Sometimes we are breaking down the pillars of success that created that 15 years of dominance. And you mentioned it. We didn't have an under 17 tournament. Guys were working on their skills, the basics of the game, the rudiments of the game, trying to cement it before getting to the under 19, where they will be physically strong. I understand from the CWI that the under 19 is going to go back to the old format.
Yeah.
And I like that. 5 3-day games, and the other 50 over games, some other 50 over games. That's the way you prepare on the 19s, so that the concentration levels will be developed. There is specifics to the cause of batsmen batting for long periods. Bowlers working hard. The adjustments to the ball conditions, the atmospheric conditions, the pitch conditions. That is how you bring up a young under 19 team. So you want them to concentrate for long periods. And this kind of habit should be before they get to under 19s. I mean, what's going on in schools? A lot of T20 cricket that is messing up our players, and we expect them to concentrate when they get up to the senior level. So I agree with under 19s being expanded the tournament to make players work a little harder. 1 day rest in between. That's what used to happen when I coached Pollard and Dinesh Ramdin and these guys. And I didn't coach them specifically for the 50 over game because I knew the value of coaching them for the longer game where there is different scenarios in that 3-day tournament. So, and they adjusted well to the 50 over game. It just needs 1 or 2 practice sessions for them to make the adjustment. So I agree with on the 19, let the players develop the nuances and the proper habits and the concentration from early on, and then expose them to the under 19 tournament.
And during the time I played, from 1987 to 1989, there was no one-day tournament. And then there was rain in Trinidad in 1998. And because the players needed some match practice or to play time, they had an impromptu on the 19 one-day 50 over tournament. And from then they played the 1 day with the 3 day, and then in World Cup years they didn't play any 2-day cricket or 3-day cricket on the 19 level at all. Let's go for a short commercial break, and then we'll be right back.
Suppliers, Dave's, the largest purchaser of fresh fish from Guyana, is interested in buying from you. Dave's deeply cares about bolstering the local economy and is looking to begin business with an eager seller of fresh fish and agro products. Dave's needs a constant supply of snapper, butterfish, bangameri, bundari crab, sheriga crab, white belly shrimp, bon carilo, edo, saijambaji, and more. Contact Dave's West Indian Imports at 21 Middle Street, Viceless, East Coast, Demerara. Telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. Dave's will purchase.
Now Milko has done it again. We've listened to you, and now available nationwide. Another convenient size packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. It's here, the 5 kg or 11 pounds new packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. Now available at your nearest supermarket.
Now Milko, National Milling Company of Guyana.
Looking for quality lumber for your dream home or an upcoming project? Then make Builders Lumberyard your premier provider. We provide a full selection of rough and dress lumber, such as Green Heart, Purple Heart, Kabakali, all types of mixed hardwood, Silver Bali, Ditarma, and many other species. We also stock clean and knotted pine doors in various sizes, Qualable posts, farm boards, plywood, and all types of molding. Orders can be cut to any specification and delivered to your worksite. With over 25 years of experience in the lumber industry, we are determined to provide a quality lumber that meets our home builders and contractors' every need. Builders Lumberyard and you will always be a winning combination. Visit our main office at 12 Lombard and Deroy Street or our branch office at 66 Ben Street, Georgetown, or telephone 225-9530 227-0904.
Craving a meal that's big on flavor but doesn't break the bank? KFC has got you covered with the KFC 3-piece meal deal. Get 3 pieces of chicken, fries, mac and cheese, a biscuit, and a drink. All for just $2,200. It's the perfect deal, available every day. Enjoy your 3-piece meal deal at KFC today. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Yeah, good evening to you again. 29 minutes getting up to program time. That's 29 minutes to the hour of 9 o'clock. And we're still with Anthony Gray. I tried to make contact with Ronnie Sarwan, and the internet is very poor. I'm not getting onto him on WhatsApp, which means there is little or no internet where he and Minister Jacobs were, or is. But I wanted to talk to Stephen Jacobs, the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, the junior minister. Charles Ramsden is the subject minister, about what he feels if there's any way that the government could have played a role in subsidizing the Guyana Cricket Board. Lack of funds, they say. Everything is lack of funds now. So to get the tournament played in Guyana, I don't know if ICC would have a problem with that, or I know the Guyana government, the president, Irfan Ali, he's a big sports lover, especially cricket. He actually plays state ball cricket to a good standard. And of course, well, Stephen now is in the breach, so he's a known cricketer. And it's not only cricket they're doing. They had an outreach program the other day where they spoke about all sorts of things. They even presented footballs to the community that I live in, which has produced a lot of players for Guyana and Maltinoes, and that's the club Stephen played for. But I was also going to ask Sarwan about the Guyana team, if players like Hetmeyer, Moti, Rutherford, Shepard, all the big names, they're free now. They're not playing in the intercounty tournament, which starts on Saturday, and the regional 50 over starts next month in Trinidad. What would be the penalties for not playing in the intercounty if someone makes a double hundred in a fifth over game and he was not in the team? Would Hetmeyer or one of the top batsmen who are available and did not play because they wanted rest, or CWI wanted them to rest, how would that impact the Guyana selectors headed by Ronnie Sarwan? And do you think it's a big blow that Shamar Joseph and Alzari Joseph are both injured and didn't play in the India series?
Yeah, when it comes to selecting players, new players who have done well in the regional tournament or in trials to get to the regional tournament, I think that you have to take a serious look at them. And you want more and more competition. So it's not just about the players who have played international cricket and you expect them to perform well at this level, but you have to balance it off with young players who are hungry and who can make an impact. So, when you talk about Guyana, for example, Sawande, who is the lead selector, he will have to evaluate that. But when you're talking about two of the best young fast bowlers in the world, as I talked about their rankings before, this guy, Shama Joseph, just started playing for the West Indies team in international competition. He demolished Australia in Australia not too long ago. He's done it again with his 22 wickets in 3 test matches on pitches that were conducive to fast bowling. Obviously, up and down pitches, not too easy for batsmen, but not to negate the fact that he did well. Now, he brings a lot of the qualities that we want to see, not just in our bowlers and our fast bowlers specifically, but our players. He brings a positive aura. He is very hardworking. He wants to do well. He has faith in himself. Somebody to, say bye-bye to his security then, his security for his family, which is his security job, and then have that level of faith to know that one day he will play for the West Indies team is amazing. So he brings a certain aura. It's not just the external things, the ability to take wickets, but that aura transfers to the rest of the players. So you want that type of aura around the other players. So it's a big loss for the West Indies team in India playing against the number 4th ranked team in their hometown. Alzarri Joseph is the same. We saw him at the last test match against Australia. The pace that he bowled, it was frightening pace. Even Stephen Smith didn't want to get in line. It's the first time I didn't see him using that back foot movement that he normally uses. So it was frightening pace. So it brings different things to the level of West Indies bowling attack, and we saw it in the most emphatic way in India in the first test match. They were sorely missed.
Well, for those who does not know the history of Shamar Joseph, he has a brother who is bowling almost as, not almost, a little below his level of pace, but he's very good. He played for Demerara this year while Shamar played for Berbice in the intercounty. His brother plays for Everest. So he's a good youngster also, his younger brother, I think. But back to your point, Shamar Joseph and Alzarri Joseph would be missed. Of course, we're hoping that they recover soon. There are lots of cricket for the West Indies in this year, and we hope that they but even saying that, they say the batsmen set up matches, but it's the bowlers that win them because you got to take 20 wickets unless the opposition declares. But is this a situation where the bowlers have to do the batting also, as we saw in recent times?
Well, what you want to program everybody is to make runs. Obviously, the portfolio of the batsmen is to really make some good scores, and 20s, 24 is not good enough. But I'm saying that if they are mentally programmed that way because of the white ball scenario, it would be hard for them to make that mental adjustment and have that mental stamina out of that scenario, right? And remember, they were just playing CPL T20 cricket. So that's another talking point. So technically, they wouldn't be efficient enough. But you're right. If you, we saw it against Australia, the bowlers bowled very, very well. They were relentless in the way they attacked the Australian batsmen. They bowled in the right areas. They didn't give them any drives. They didn't give them any wit at all. And, we have to continue like that and have more bowlers like that with the discipline, the pace, the aggression, and the relentless searching attitude. But in addition to that, you want your batsmen to stay out there and bat for long. Now, batting for long is not about just holding on, because the best bowlers in the world, if you put pressure on them, they will bowl bad deliveries. That's a part of the human being that we have to understand. So perhaps we have to look at the strategy of not just looking to wait out Bumrah and Siraj to get to the spinners. You have to look to score. And scoring doesn't mean to say you have to play aggressive shots. You work the ball around, look for the bad delivery, and look to score all of the times.
And maybe apart from Shai Hope and to a lesser extent Chase, we don't play spin well. So if we battled Bumrah and the spin comes on, we're still going to be in a quandary. There talk about replacing Chandra Paul, bringing in Anderson, who's shown that he's good at the regional first class level, but he might not be as good in Test cricket. He's played a few Test matches already, and bringing in Imlak and changing the team because, well, everybody's failing. So what would you like to see happen in the final Test with the batting?
Well, let me just go back to the Australian series. Before it started, I remember being on another program, your good friend Andrew Mason on guest program, and I said it started the day before, it started on the Wednesday, and I was on the program Tuesday, and I said that Imlak should bat at 7. What we have to do is go back to the time when we beat them in Australia. We emotionalized that type of performance. We lauded and were excited about the performance of Sharma Joseph, but it was a perfect team effort without the opening batsman scoring runs because Craig Bradford, the captain of the team, then didn't score runs. Now I said that you have to look at that template of success and try to repeat it because those things should teach us. But it seems that we say it's one-off, but we don't learn from the details. I think that, Imlak should have played against Australia, batted at number 7. We didn't need a spin bowler in that first game because of the state of the pitch. And the bowlers did the job. In hindsight, the bowlers did the job. So you didn't need an extra bowler. You needed an extra batsman because the batting was a problem. And you wanted somebody to be dogged in his approach because we could learn from another template. Larry Gomes batted at number 6, and he was dogged. He magnified the pressure from the early batsmen, and he tired out the opposition by working the ball around, picking up the boundaries here and there, and concentrating for long periods.
And
so
most
those
of
are
the
templates
centuries
that we
are
could
against
learn from.
Australia, which was the top team in terms of fast bowlers.
Yeah, six centuries I think that he had against Australia, right? And most of them in Australia, all right? So it shows that it can be done, but we have to follow templates of success. And we want Imlak to play. I think that Johan Lane should not play the second Test match and bring in Anderson Phillip, who will give you a Sharma Joseph type of effort. He's relentless too, very fit, and he's accustomed bowling on slow wickets. At Brian Lara ground, he has the ability to get wickets at low cost. So those are the two changes. I don't think that Chandra Paul has that confidence. I would think that Graves could open the bat, and he has done it before in white ball cricket. So let's try him. But I don't think that Chandra Paul has that confidence, and he's not totally well prepared to.
When you look at the bowling, it was iffy, but I was very impressed with the debutant. Kaieteur made his debut at 34, and people don't realize that a spinner is a different kettle of fish to the other players in the team. A spinner develops his art and matures at a later stage, and at 34, even though it's a little bit too late to make a debut, he bowled very well. He bowled the best of my mind of the spinners.
Well, I mean, when you look at Kaieteur, he's worked extremely hard to be in this position. And generally, Sean, we are developing players later. We had somebody who's 38 who has made the most runs in the regional tournament, and Jason Mohammed, over 600 runs with 4 centuries, the most centuries in the regional 4-day tournament. So we are developing players later on, and that has to be taken into account. So he's a hard worker. He's developed his bowling quite well. He's brilliant in the field. He has a first-class century too. And I think that he bowled relatively well. You have to put things in the right perspective about spin against the Indians. The Indians are equipped to play any type of bowling.
Yeah.
And on their surfaces, and if you're not turning the ball, and he's not a big turner of the ball, but he depends on pace through the air, drifters here and there, and he gets a little bit more turn than he used to. So it means to say that he's using his body quite well and his fingers quite well. He's working on the ball a little bit more. So it wasn't a bad effort from him, knowing that he's coming up against the best players of spin bowling in the world.
All right. So, what would you do different apart from changing a couple of players in terms of strategy, manner of play, mental capacity in the next test? With this, you can't change the team. It's the same team going there, so you can't send back home for anybody else. You got to play with what you've got. And unfortunately for West Indies now, the pool has gotten smaller. Now it's gotten really tiny.
Yeah, I think that strategies need to be changed. It's not about Chanderpaul just going out there and, being stagnated and trying to save the fast bowlers. You have to be assertive. The only way you beat the best teams in the world or the best opposition in the world in any sport is to be assertive. And being assertive doesn't mean to say that you have to be audacious in your stroke play, but you can look for the singles, work the ball around, always look positive. The body language of our team has to change. The game is not just about technique. It's not just about strategy. It's about how you look to and how you present yourself. I think that Ruston Chase tactically has to be a little bit more assertive when it is time to be assertive and be balanced. You don't want to be too defensive against India. And when you look at it, India got the best part of the pitch all of the times. They got the green part of the pitch for the faster bowlers to work with. And they got the better part of the pitch in the first test match for the batsmen to score over 400 runs and declare. And then they got the best part of the pitch after when the ball spun a little bit more. So I think that we have to be assertive. There's no way we're going to withstand India if we play the waiting game.
All right, let's take another pause for business calls, and then we'll be right back.
Attention seafood suppliers, Dave's, the largest purchaser of fresh fish from Guyana, is interested in buying from you. Dave's deeply cares about bolstering the local economy and is looking to begin business with an eager seller of fresh fish and agro products. Dave's needs a constant supply of snapper, butterfish, bangameri, bundari crab, sheriga crab, white-belly shrimp, bon carilo, edo, saijambaji, and more. Contact Dave's West Indian Imports at 21 Middle Street, Vicelas, East Coast, Demerara. Telephone 501-4087 or 644-8999. Dave's will purchase.
Craving a meal that's big on flavor but doesn't break the bank? KFC has got you covered with the KFC 3-piece meal deal. Get 3 pieces of chicken, fries, mac and cheese, a biscuit, and a drink, all for just $2,200. It's the perfect deal, available every day. Enjoy your 3-piece meal deal at KFC today. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Now Milko has done it again. We've listened to you and now available nationwide. Another convenient size packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. It's here. The 5 kg or 11 pounds new packaging of Thunderbolt all-purpose flour. Now available at your nearest supermarket.
Now Milko, National Milling Company of Guyana.
Welcome back to the final lap of the Sean Dever Sports Watch. The number to call 592, that's if you're out of Ghana, and the number 592-226-7454. This is the first time we've introduced the call-in, and it's going to take a little bit of time to materialize and give the people a chance to call. But some people on the Facebook, my promotion of this program was telling me, we need to have a call-in program so that they could interact with you guys. But now there's nobody calling. Even the guy who said he's writing down his questions before tonight. Anyway, Tony Gray, back to you. We've got another program scheduled for next week, Tuesday. That would mean that the test match would be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The test match would be finished. And the first round or the second round of the intercounty, because the second round of the intercounty, that's the Guyana trials basically for the Super 50, Essequibo, Berbice, and Demerara, and they've got a GCB select team. So 4 teams, they play each other 2 matches per day. That used to be, now it's just 1 match per day. And the second round would be finished on Tuesday, so that's a nice day. And I hope that Sarwan and Jacobs would be in the city. They're working really hard, especially Stephen Jacobs. He's doing a lot of reach out to the community and so on. As the Junior Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, he's not only talking about sports and cricket. He's also getting into the cultural aspects. He's talking a lot about the youths, telling them to stay in school, finding out what they want. Recently, he went to our area, as I said. There's a basketball court that the government had built about 3 years ago, and it's the youngsters are saying they have to compete with the footballers, the cricketers, and the basketball players, which is the least of them, even though it's a basketball court. So there's a big patch behind that area, which the community residents in the community suggested they build a football ground and lights and fencing it and so on. Lots of work, and this is only in my community, but all over Guyana. That's why they've gone now to Letem. I heard something that Roger Harper and Sarwan would have been sent to Letem by the president of Guyana, who, as I said, is very interested in the development of cricket. But I'm not sure, but I'm almost sure that this is the same program because Stephen is the minister, the junior minister, and he's also had the experience of playing cricket. They sent him instead of Roger Harper, who's much older. And
Sean, let me come in here. When he has a very important portfolio as the junior minister of culture, youth, and sport. And I know him well because I coached him already. I think that he came to the fielding workshop at UESPEC that UTT put on with the Australian outreach program. He was always very assertive, but he has a very important portfolio because right now, as I speak, we are at UTT, University of Trinidad and Tobago. We have had a lot of meetings with people who are decision makers, higher rank decision makers, and it's going to take a concerted collective effort because in these sort of situations, you cannot work in a silo. You have to get the education ministry going. You have to get, sport has so much of tentacles, positive tentacles, and that is a vehicle for national development. And if used in the right way, you're going to alleviate health concerns and problems. You can alleviate, the crime rate. It's just a very important ministry, but I don't think that we in the Caribbean look at sport the way we should, because we see it as recreation. We don't see it as a vehicle for national development, and we should. So we are trying in Trinidad here through the University of Trinidad and Tobago, and not just the sport and high performance unit, but the kinesiology department, to try and change the culture, the mindset of people, and to tell them how important sport is. So he has a very important ministry there,
Yes,
Stephen Jacob.
and strangely enough, well, might not be strangely to the elderly females, they think that you can't, talking about jobs, unemployment, a lot of people in our community, the youngsters, they're unemployed, and Stephen was saying that they can learn a trade, he give them a number on the website to go to, and so on and so forth. But there are a lot of people, mainly females, over 60 or 70, they were saying that why put so much emphasis on building sports facilities, because you can't make a job from sports. But you could. Hetty Meyer makes more than most of the people in Guyana in IPL. And also, they've got to get a balance. You need education, yes, but this 22 subjects that people are writing, it leaves little time for recreational sports and even serious sports. You don't have time to train.
But let me just come in here and talk about, well, the ladies have to understand the spin-off effects of sport. I mean, one of the sad truths about West Indies cricket, and we probably digressed a little bit, but we're coming back to West Indies cricket. And I asked a question because I was there in an emergency meeting at Hyatt Hotel to discuss the intricacies of West Indies cricket and how we could improve it. One of the questions I asked is, has any feasibility studies been done on the kind of monies that came into the coffers of, the Caribbean? Because a lot of the countries then and still depend on tourism. So sports tourism was at its highest when our West Indies team dominated world cricket for 15 years. Just think about that. The amount of people got employed, the interim, people who sell nuts, for example, it helped. So I don't think that we understand the real benefits that have been occurred from West Indies cricket during the dominant times. If we did, and we did do a feasibility study, then we will fight to bring it back to the standards that it was.
Yeah, and even the last 4 years that Guyana hosted the CPL, and I'm sure that similar sentiments must go to Trinidad and Tobago because they had big crowds. The sport in the CPL Carnival